All right, good morning. It's 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Anthony, Texas, which is right next to the New Mexico border. This load that I'm on is going to Mira Loma, California. Starting today off, I'm a little bit against the clock right now. I've got a few more minutes. I've done my pre-trip inspection, but I've got to wait a few more minutes before I head into the drive line. I have about 700 something miles left, but I'm up against the DOT 70-hour clock for my past 8 days. So this thing is counting down. The 70-hour, I have about 7 hours and 43 minutes left. And then tomorrow, so at midnight, I'm gonna gain back 5 hours and 41 minutes. So I've got it timed out just right, where if I leave now, drive 7 hours, I believe it gets me to my next fuel stop. I've got one more fuel stop and it comes up in Phoenix, Arizona. If traffic is kind to me and things of that nature, I'll probably get to that fuel stop and do another 10-hour break. And then, so at that point, I'm trying to time it where I get there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go through 10 hours and then start driving again after midnight, because the delivery is at 7 o'clock a.m. in California on tomorrow, Tuesday morning. So I believe I can make it, but it's going to be one of those times where it's close. You're running against the clock. The good news is we're about to see some very beautiful scenery out the front window here. So let's get right to it.
God's got my back. Even when I fall or get attacked, God's got my back. Even when I'm low and full of lack, God's got my back. Even when my soul is full of sorrow, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. Why is that? 'Cause God's got my back right there, never left. I can feel your presence in every single breath. Sometimes we just gotta take a rest. Flowers like to bloom in the season that is best. Oh, your way is better, you make no mistakes. Even when my life is on roller skates, I won't fear no past my path, I'll just keep moving straight. 'Cause God's got my back. Even when I fall or get attacked, God's got my back. Even when I'm low and full of lack, God's got my back. Even when my soul is full of sorrow, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. Why is that? God's got my life inside of his hands, favor on all my plans, a roof to keep away the rain, and blessings that outweigh the pain. Oh, your way is better, you make no mistakes. Even when my life is on roller skates, I won't fear no past my path, I'll just keep moving straight. 'Cause God's got my back. Even when I fall or get attacked, God's got my back. Even when I'm low and full of lack, God's got my back. Even when my soul is full of sorrow, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. Why is that? Because today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day that the Lord has made. Even with all of the bad in it, today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I will rejoice and be glad in it. 'Cause God's got my back.
Well, as mentioned when I started this morning, it was going to be a race against that 70-hour clock. I think it ended up being a race that I didn't win. I got to my fuel stop, I went ahead and let my dispatcher know I've got 15 minutes left on my 70-hour DOT, and I only get back like 5 hours and 41 minutes at midnight. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But anyway, they said, yeah, it was probably best to go ahead and swap you with another driver. So waited. I made it to Avondale, Arizona. So I'm here at the Pilot in Avondale. That other driver has already came in. We have swapped loads. So mine had a little bit closer delivery appointment time. So that guy, and he was a trainer too. So it was him and another guy. Kid was as green as me, but they swapped trailers with me. So now I've got one. It's still going to California. Got the bills right here. Still going to California this time. Instead of Mira Loma, it's going to Victorville, California. And the previous load was a load of medical supplies. This one is a load of candy from Mars Wrigley. Bunch of Twixes and M&Ms and some good stuff back there in that trailer. I'm gonna be high tempted to go back there and sneak a little piece. I'm kidding. But yeah, we are here. I'm actually going to go ahead and do a 34-hour restart with this. This way it resets my 70-hour clock. I'll point at all the different features of the clock and what you're up against out here on the road in just a minute. But I've already backed into the trailer here, but I need to go couple it. So I'll show you what it's like to couple a trailer, and then come back and talk a little bit more about this restart and why I'm doing it. All right, so I've gone ahead and backed in. I've latched myself right here on the fifth wheel. Kingpin. Go ahead and double check my temperature right here. So the temperature on this refrigerated unit is supposed to be set at 55 degrees candy. So if I go right here to the menu in Teleset, we're looking at candy 40 to 80 active. I'm just gonna exit and nothing was changed. So Teleset's not changed. It's set where it needs to be. Go ahead and do my glad hand. I'm gonna do my service line first. Electrical line. Electrical line. Be nice if it wouldn't drop the phone when I'm trying to do it. Anyway. Emergency electrical service, all connected. Go ahead and raise up this landing gear. Twist, 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 twist. It's about as much exercise as you're gonna get being a trucker right here. Push this in, raise it on up. You gotta twist these things about 100 times before it finally gets to the top. Boom! Landing gears raised. Last thing I got to do is put my lock on. I already checked the seal. Whenever I first got the paperwork from the guy. Everything lines up with the bill, so now I'm just gonna Go ahead and lock this load up. Locks in place. Nice heavy duty lock, and the good thing about these is it loops around this way, so nobody's going to come over here with a big old set of butt cutters. Oh gosh, bolt cutters. Try to lop that thing off. Get in there and steal my candy. Can't have that. Okay, explaining the DOT hours of service regulations and why I'm going to go ahead and do this 34-hour restart. Basically, you live and die by this screen right here when you're an over-the-road trucker. Every trucker is subject to the same FMCSA regulations. FMCSA meaning Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. The 30-minute DOT clock is set for 8 hours, and that 8 hours is the maximum amount of time that you can drive. You can be behind the wheel driving, so you can't just hop in your truck and go drive 10 hours down the road. This requirement is at maximum you can drive 8 hours, and at that point you have to serve at least 30 minutes of off-duty time. So that's why it's called the 30-minute DOT break. So at some point before you get to that 8 hours, you're always going to have to take that 30-minute break off-duty. It can be off-duty or on-duty, so you can do it like as you're fueling. So fueling, you'll have to show 15 minutes of on-duty and then add another 15 minutes of off-duty time to it while you're at the truck stop. That will suffice for your 30-minute break. The 11-hour DOT clock is going to be the maximum amount of time that you can drive in one shift. So you can't drive past that 11 hours in any one day. 14-hour DOT clock is the maximum total time that you can work during the day. From the time you start your day, 14 hours later, you can't work past that. You technically can do that with a sleeper berth split, but I'm not even going to try to start explaining that to you right now. Just know that 14-hour DOT, so if you started your day at, like I did this morning at 6 a.m., at most, I could not go past 8 o'clock p.m. tonight, but got 5 hours left on that clock, so plenty of time. The real kicker is this 70-hour DOT clock. So you see right here, I've got 13 minutes left on that 70-hour DOT clock, and what that is in an 8-day time period, you cannot exceed 70 hours of driving and on-duty time. So that's recap right over here on my hours of service US 70-hour property. So going back to the 16th and working back, I have been on duty for a total of 13 minutes shy of 70 hours. So what will happen is hours gain back. So at midnight tonight, I will gain back the hours that I worked 8 days ago. 5 hours, 41 minutes, 19 seconds. Okay, and then tomorrow night, once midnight strikes, I will have gained back 6 hours, 53 minutes. So think of it kind of like a reverse Cinderella. Instead of things turning into a pumpkin at midnight, it turns into a nice fancy chariot. You get, here's five hours, you can continue to go work. But the problem here is the amount of time that it was going to take to drive the remainder of that leg to California. So it's still I think it was like 350 miles that I had left. And when you're working with a truck that's governed to only run 65 miles per hour at max, when you've got the cruise set, almost always going to run into issues trying to get places in a decent amount of time. So that other guy came and swapped with me because they had hours available, so they're going to go ahead and take it. Their appointment's a little bit later, so this one that I'm on is actually due by midnight. But I talked to dispatch today and said, you know, I'd like to go ahead and do a 34-hour restart because I'm going to gain 5 hours back, drive that and then be stuck sitting again, and then get 6 more hours, 7 more hours drive and be kind of stuck sitting again. I'm going to go ahead and serve 34 hours of a break so that this entire clock over here will reset to 0. So you do that by literally sitting still for 34 straight hours. So I got here at 3 o'clock p.m. to Avondale. So 3 o'clock p.m. tomorrow, the 24th, will be 24 hours. And then another 10 hours from that, 1 o'clock a.m. on the 25th. So I told dispatch I'd like to go ahead and utilize that 34-hour restart. That way I'm not having to finagle with drive a little bit, stop, drive a little bit, stop. I just want to be able to get a nice, fresh, clean slate. I've driven 3,300 miles since the 16th, so it's very, very solid first week. I've been thoroughly pleased with it. So that's what I'm doing, and I will pick back up the 25th, February 25th at 1 a.m. drive it on in. So this load's technically due by midnight on the 25th, but dispatch was able to work things out with the receiver that's getting this candy, and they said, yeah, just have him get here at 8 o'clock the next morning. So yep, that brings it to a close. Gotta sit here at this pilot in Avondale for 34 hours. Honestly, I could probably think of worse places to be stuck for 34 hours, so not bad. They do have they've got sidewalks all the way around the town here, and I actually went out today while I was killing some time and went for a 3-mile run. So probably do that again tomorrow. And exercise comes few and far between out here, so I'll try to take it when I can. And I'm gonna go in there and grab my free shower from fueling up, and also maybe do some catching up on some laundry. That is the end of this one. So appreciate you watching all the way to this point. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff. May God bless you and keep you. Amen.